Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would do a follow-up to last week's current events, and I'm going to try to do this without being insulting to anybody. I'm going to try to give a very mature response here, because I had quite a few of Jeff's fans come over, and I banned them for being trolls, but I had quite a few of his fans come over and say stuff like, well, pound for pound strength, or for his age and body weight, or whatever, Jeff is just as strong as you are. Now, keeping in mind, we're talking about the deadlift. And they're talking about relative strength. And I actually had some of his guys say stuff like, well, you outweigh him by like 100 pounds. I've weighed in on camera within the last month. I'm 219 pounds. So unless Jeff weighs less than 120, that's not even possible. So I want to keep things objective. Now, a lot of people who came over are saying stuff like, well, I think he looks better than you. And I addressed that in the last one. That's irrelevant because neither one of us compete in men's physique. Neither one of us run physique channels. Okay? That is not what either of us coach people in. He is not a physique prep coach. I'm not a physique prep coach. I'm a strength coach. Jeff is a strength coach. Now, if you want to be objective, because physique is subjective, a lot of people find his physique disgusting. I know several women who've said that level of leanness is disgusting to them. Okay, so that is subjective. That's very subjective. But if you were to say, is his body fat percentage lower than mine? Yes, it is. I'd concede that point, but let's come over to the point. We're running strength and conditioning channels, and he says stuff like, I'm a strength coach, put the science back in strength. Yet, he doesn't display anything that's even a remotely good strength, and he's someone who trains year-round. His strength would be classified as not much beyond novice level. And again, you'll see people say, well, that's crazy. I mean, a 400-plus deadlift is rare at my gym, but how many strength coaches are in there teaching people how to train at your gym? Right, if a proper strength coach came to your gym and everyone were to, who goes there, all your gym bros were to study under him for 3 months, 400 deadlifts wouldn't be the norm. Like, they wouldn't be rare. They would actually be considered the weaker end of the gym. Right, that would be the weaker guys. Like 500 deadlifts would be normal. They would be average. So let's come over and look at the numbers objectively, because people were saying, well, what about relative strength? And I'll go to pound for pound. I think people would be shocked how bad the pound for pound is. But if we were to, Jeff and I were to go to, against each other, a powerlifting meet. Now, right now, my current best deficit deadlift is 625. I haven't pulled a normal conventional in 6 months. It was still over 600, but we'll use the deficit from my current number, which is 625. Keeping in mind, everyone universally agrees and knows deficits are harder than a normal deadlift. I probably pull at least 10 pounds. Some guys pull 50 pounds more with a 1-inch deficit versus not. I'm going to predict maybe 10 pounds, but I'm not going to count that in. Let's just go with what I've demonstrated recently on a deficit deadlift, and it was 625. And I threw it into the video. I vlog all my training. Anyone who says, Jason, you're training, oh, I don't know, I haven't seen it. I vlog every single workout that I do year round. They get vlogged. I'm the only person on the internet who literally documents all of their training. It's all there. My maxes tend to get put up into separate videos also. So, I mean, you can just go through and it's not hard to find. But I threw it into the end of that video of a 625 deficit. But if I were to go to a comp and he were to go to a comp tomorrow at our current body weights, no peaking, no prepping, and he pulled at his claimed body weight of 173 at age 46, pulled 425, and I walk in and pull 625 at age 43, weighing 219, which again, we know my age. We know I'm technically one age class lower than him, so he would get bonus points. If we were to both go to a meet and do a deadlift only category, I would, when they tally up the results and they factor in age and weight, I would literally be like 5 tiers higher than him. So I'll put up the numbers here so you guys can kind of see that. But if you look at the age-adjusted Wilks, keeping in mind, because he's 3 years older than me, they gave him a lot more handicap points because he's in the next age bracket up. He's Masters 2, I'd be Masters 1. So age-adjusted Wilks, he would get a 142. That would be his score. My age-adjusted Wilks is 178. Okay, now keeping in mind they gave him more handicap points. He got 9 points added for his age. Right? I only got 5 points added for mine. They gave him 4 extra points. So his age is accounted for, the 3 years difference between our age. But I still have a Wilks that is 36 points higher than him on a single lift. Right? And then you'll have his guys who are like, well, that's just the deadlift. And people forget the deadlift is least correlated with body weight. You start going to the other lifts and it's not that small of a gap. It's not going to be a 36-point Wilks difference if we start plugging in squats and stuff. Because I can guarantee you I probably out-squat Jeff by at least 200 pounds. Okay, at least 200 pounds. Deadlift, we know 200. We don't see him squat, but judging by his performance, judging by the way he moves, I promise you Jeff is at best a low 300 squatter. Best case scenario, so I probably out-squat him by anywhere between 200 250 pounds. I promise you I can bench more than him because I've seen his dips in his overhead press with real plates. If I were to extrapolate that pressing strength, I can probably out-bench him by 100 pounds also. So what are you guys talking about? And it's not like I weigh 100 pounds more than this guy. He claims 173. Hey, do the math. It's like 46 pounds. And 46 is a lot. It's a lot, but it's not 100 pounds. So then people will say, well, what about ratios? That Wilks score de-emphasizes some of that. What if we just do straight ratios? Keeping in mind, straight ratios are not done in strength sports. Well, do the math. If you were to go pound for pound, what's his pound for pound deadlift? Right? You take 425, you divide it by 173. It's 2.45 times his body weight. Okay? Mine would be 2.85 times my body weight. For him to have a higher pound for pound deadlift than me, I'd have to lose 100 pounds off my deadlift. Right? If I lost 100 pounds off my deadlift, a whole 100 pounds, he would barely have a pound for pound deadlift higher than me. Okay? Because I would have like a 239.7. So even if I were to lose only 95 pounds, let me see, be slightly better, 90 pounds. If I lose 90 pounds off my deadlift, again, that's counting the deficit. We would have the same pound for pound deadlift if I lost 90 pounds off of mine. Right? If Jeff actually deadlifted 500, I would still have a higher pound for pound deadlift than him. And that's just a fact. So I don't understand where these kids are coming from. And I had a bunch of them come in and do it. And they started talking about pound for pound strength. And they're like, well, his lift is really good for his age and weight. For his lean mass? Okay, because your age, the reason age matters is because it's harder to hold on to muscle as we get older. It's harder to hold on to muscle. And his lean mass, to have a 425 deadlift, he claims 173 at something like 6% body fat. Do you understand that that's like 160 pounds of lean mass? Okay, he has 160 pounds of fat-free mass. All my lifters who have that sort of fat-free mass are all at least 500 deadlifters. Okay, they all deadlift like 500 plus. They all squat well over 400 pounds. So if the guy lives a training lifestyle as a strength coach, it's like, well, where's the strength in? Where's your strong lifters? Where are your strong lifters at? Jesse, Antonio Brown? Are either one of them strong, though? And that's the point. And people say, well, Jeff does a lot of calisthenics and plyometrics and conditioning work. Yeah, but so do I. I mean, do we want to go over to the glute ham raise and do on the hardest setting and see who can do the most reps on it? You want to go take a 300-pound sled and go have us drag it for distance? I mean, does anyone really think he'd win at that? Because that's stuff I do. I do sets of 20 all the time on the glute ham raise on the hardest setting. I drag a sled 2 to 3 times a week. I do plyometrics 3 days a week. I do all that stuff too. I do that stuff also because I'm a strength athlete. I care about being fit and athletic. I do those things. So again, that's not an excuse. In fact, if someone does a bunch of plyometrics and hard conditioning work, they should actually be stronger. They shouldn't be weak for it. They should actually be stronger as a result of it. Okay, that's a horrific excuse. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.